that black spot on your bathroom ceiling. You scrubbed it in March, you bleached it in June, you caulked the entire tub surround in September. And right now, as you are reading this, it is back. Same corner, same spreading shadow, same smell that tells you something living is growing inside your walls. You have spent real money on this. Not pocket change, real money. Dehumidifiers, air purifiers, mold sprays that promise permanent results and deliver maybe 6 weeks of relief before the cycle starts again. And every time it comes back, you go back to the store, back to the same aisle, back to the same products with slightly different labels that all do the same temporary thing. There is a single copper cable, not a system, not a device, not a subscription, a single grounded copper wire running along a baseboard that has kept certain homes completely free of mold for over 80 years. No maintenance, no replacement, no power source. The families who know about this have been using it since long before the modern mold industry existed to sell you alternatives. The reason it never made it into mainstream building practice is not complicated once you understand who was writing the rules and what they stood to lose if this information spread. There is an old farmhouse in eastern Kentucky, built around 1911, that has been in the same family for 4 generations. The current owner is a retired schoolteacher in her early 80s who has never once hired a mold remediation company, never once called a contractor about moisture damage, and has never owned an air purifier in her life. When I walked her basement for the first time, I stood at the bottom of the stairs for a long moment, just trying to understand what I was not seeing. No black streaking along the stone foundation, no white mineral bloom spreading out from the corners, no damp wood smell that every old basement in that region should carry, given the climate and the age of the structure. She watched me looking and said nothing until I turned around. Then she walked me to the north wall and pointed at the baseboard trim. Behind a strip of painted wood, barely visible, a bare copper wire ran the full length of the room. At the corner, it passed through a small drilled hole in the mortar and disappeared outside toward the foundation. She told me her grandfather ran that wire himself during the winter of 1947 after learning the technique from an older neighbor whose family had brought it over from Germany 2 generations before. Nobody in her family had touched it since. The basement had not grown a single visible colony in over 70 years of Kentucky humidity. That conversation sent me into 3 months of research I was not expecting. Old agricultural extension bulletins, archived university studies from the 90s, building science literature from the post-war period, and a pattern that showed up so consistently across so many independent sources that dismissing it became genuinely impossible. Mold does not land randomly. This is the piece of information the entire remediation industry depends on you never fully understanding. Because once you do, the logic of everything they sell you falls apart immediately. Mold spores are negatively charged particles. The surfaces in your home, drywall, wood framing, bathroom grout, concrete block, develop a measurable positive surface charge whenever relative humidity climbs above 55%. Opposite charges attract. The spores do not choose your bathroom corner by accident. They are being pulled there by a consistent electrochemical condition that exists in that surface, and that condition has nothing to do with how clean you keep the room. This is why scrubbing works temporarily and always fails eventually. You remove the visible colony, but the electrical condition that made that surface a landing zone remains completely unchanged. Within weeks, the next generation of spores finds the same spot through the same mechanism. The corner was not the problem. The charge differential was the problem. And no cleaning product on the market addresses charge differential because cleaning products are sold to address visible mold, not the invisible physics behind it. Copper connected to a ground path leading into damp earth creates what electrochemists call a passive galvanic circuit. The copper continuously bleeds the positive surface charge from surrounding materials down through the wire and into the earth, which acts as an infinite electrical sink. It absorbs that charge without limit, without wearing out, without needing any input from you. When the surface charge is gone, the attraction for spores disappears with it. Spores still move through the air in your home. They simply find no reason to settle on a neutralized surface, and a colony that never starts never needs to be treated. This mechanism is not theoretical. Copper's antimicrobial properties have been documented in medical and agricultural literature for well over a century. The specific application to building mold prevention appears in archived research from the late 1800s, was studied again by agricultural scientists in the post-war period, and showed up in a small number of university-level building science studies in the 1990s and early 2000s before those research threads went quiet, in ways that, once you look into the funding structures around them, are not particularly surprising. When American residential building codes were being standardized in the early 1950s, The committees writing those standards had significant representation from manufacturers, material suppliers, and the emerging home services industry. The codes they produced were not purely technical documents. They were also commercial documents, reflecting the interests of the industries that showed up to the process with organized lobbying, and the codes that emerged from that era established which solutions were approved, which were ignored, and which were specifically excluded. Passive copper grounding for biological protection was excluded, not because the evidence for it was absent. The agricultural literature existed. The field observations from barn and farmhouse preservation research existed. The mechanism was understood well enough by the scientists who had studied it. It was excluded because a one-time $40 installation with a 100-year service life does not generate the kind of recurring commercial relationship that any industry can build a business model around. The mold remediation sector in this country now generates over $4 billion annually. The household mold treatment product market adds several billion more on top of that. Every dollar of that revenue depends on a problem that is never permanently solved for the people paying to address it. The knowledge did not disappear entirely. It stayed alive in communities that were never integrated into the mainstream building industry in the first place. German and Swiss farming families who settled the rural Midwest and Appalachia carried the technique across generations through direct instruction, rather than published standards. It existed in practice in places where the hardware store solution was never the first instinct, and where a wire and a grounding rod and knowledge of why they worked together was considered ordinary, rather than unusual. The installation, start to finish, the materials cost under $40 total and are available at any hardware store. You need a 25-foot roll of number 10 bare solid copper wire, one 4-foot copper grounding rod, and one brass split bolt connector to join them. That covers a full room installation with wire to spare for a second location if you want to address two problem areas at once. Identify the wall in your target room that sits closest to the exterior foundation. This is your exit point for the ground path. Run the copper wire along the baseboard of the problem wall at floor level. You can tuck it behind the baseboard trim using a small chisel to create a shallow channel, or surface mount it and paint directly over it. Copper accepts paint well and disappears under a single coat. At the point where your wire reaches the exterior wall, drill a small hole through the sill and run the wire outside, keeping it as close to floor level as possible. Down the exterior wall, drive your grounding rod directly into the soil against the foundation, and secure the wire to the rod with the brass connector. That is the complete installation. There is no connection to your electrical panel, no power source, no permit required, because you are not modifying any active electrical system. A passive ground is legally classified as a non-electrical improvement in every residential code jurisdiction in the country. The circuit activates the moment the rod contacts damp soil. Within 10 to 14 days, the existing colony in that room will begin losing structural integrity as the electrochemical conditions sustaining it are gradually withdrawn. Within 30 days, the surface is typically clean without any scrubbing required, and it remains clean because the underlying condition driving colonization has been permanently neutralized. You have been fighting mold in your home the only way the market ever showed you how to fight it, repeatedly, expensively, and temporarily. Not because permanent solutions do not exist. Because permanent solutions that cost $40 and require no ongoing purchase are not the kind of solutions that get shelf space, search placement, or inclusion in building codes written by people with a financial interest in the problem staying unsolved. The technique you just watched is documented. It is not new. It has been practiced continuously by communities that never abandoned it because they never had a commercial reason to replace it with something more expensive. It works in old homes and new ones. It works in basements, bathrooms, crawl spaces, and exterior walls. And it works without asking anything more from you after the day you install it. Leave a comment below and tell me this. Which room in your house has been losing the mold fight the longest? The basement? The bathroom? Or that one wall that grows it back no matter what you do? Every comment gets read and the next video gets built from what you tell me. If you believe homeowners deserve access to the kind of practical knowledge that keeps getting quietly sidelined, subscribe. Next video covers something that rural water users have known for generations, a specific preparation that addresses bacterial contamination and heavy metal content in well water that the treatment industry has never had any interest in making common knowledge. See you there.